we live? Yes, hello. Welcome back to our show. I believe it's episode 16 tonight. And we're out here surviving in the hills of northeast Los Angeles, where we are enjoying the lovely weather, to be honest with you. Nothing wrong with the weather these days. It's a little hot for January, but I'll take it. Anyways, nobody gives a shit about me talking about the weather. I'm a fucking dog. I shouldn't say that. I'm a good dog. Good dog. The other thing that's going on is the oppressive fascist junta in charge of our federal government right now. It's really fucking scary. But that's not what this show's about. You know, this show's about community and peace, peaceful vibes, and escaping from that bullshit. Because it really is bullshit. No, it's fucking real. And it's coming to a town near you, so be fucking ready, man. Anyways, I don't want to go on about that. We're here to talk about baseball because we love the aforementioned baseball, our beloved. The differences between small and large market clubs need to be addressed because by the time opening day rolls around, of course, a third of the teams will have no fucking shot at being in contention. So that is a thing. That's definitely an issue, and that's going to be an impediment to people becoming fans and the growth of the sport, or even just the continued popularity of the sport. It's going to fuck itself over. It's going to consume itself from within. So the differences between large and small market clubs need to be addressed in ways other than a salary cap. I guess the salary cap is the obvious answer, but if the owners attempt to impose one on the players' union, the MLB will certainly cause at least part of the 2027 season to be lost secondary to a work stoppage because the players aren't going to be having that shit. All right? The Dodgers did not actually carry the game's highest payroll last season in spite of being the game's bogeymen. They're the bogeymen of the sport. The LA Dodgers did, in fact, spend a shit ton of money, but it was the Mets that did have the highest payroll in baseball, and they did not even make the playoffs. So it's becoming obvious that the Dodgers do hold, yes, financial advantages over other teams, but there is really not only spending going on. You can't attribute all their success to spending. They also outsmart and outperform other teams. And because they win so much, they can't pick high enough in the draft to obtain the obvious future stars that other teams are able to acquire in the draft. They are able to keep the young talent flowing, however, through prudent selections at lower draft positions and forward-looking trades. They can only obtain star players through trades and free agency. Both Kyle Tucker and Edwin Diaz have now jumped at the type of high-dollar, short-term deal that Bryce Harper turned down in February of 2019. I think that was a 4-year, $180 million deal. It's interesting to know that the sports playing field, it can be leveled in other ways. It doesn't always have to be a salary cap. It doesn't necessarily mean that all of the sport's competitive balance issues are going to be solved if a salary cap is imposed. Other sports have shown this. So potential alternatives to salary caps include stiffer luxury tax penalties, for one, imposed on the higher or dollar bigger market teams, higher spending teams, increase revenue sharing for small market clubs, awarding additional draft picks to small market and losing teams is also an answer, or potential answer to maybe leveling the playing field a bit financially. It's interesting to know that, yes, both Kyle Tucker and Edwin Diaz did sign the type of high dollar short term deal that Bryce Harper turned down. And Kyle Tucker now has an average annual value of his salary at $57.1 million, which is a new record, I believe. Shohei Ohtani, as a matter of fact, offered 10 years, $70 million annually to multiple teams. All but $2 million of his money is deferred in his deal. The Angels declined his offer. The Jays, the Giants, and the Dodgers accepted his deal. But ultimately, you know what happened. He signed with LA. The deal gives them the flexibility to continue acquiring talent while reaping in the huge amounts of revenue they get from having Ohtani on their team. So good on them. They're a financial machine and basically are ruling the sport right now. So I basically rambled on about how baseball can solve its salary cap issue. Or non-issue, because they should not try to impose one. There's other ways to level the playing field between the shitty teams from the smaller cities and the bigger market clubs that tend to always show up in the playoffs. And that's what we talked about. So if you thought this whole thing was stupid, I'm glad you made it this far and listened this long. And I'm basically going to stop recording now because it's probably time to stop doing this whole thing. Okay, bye-bye.